So I'll read the waiver and then we'll start class. In order to make these classes as freely accessible to our participants as possible, we will be using a verbal warning and assumption of risk at the beginning of class. Participation in this online class is voluntary. Physical activity programs may result in injury, and by participating, you assume the risk of injury that may result from your participation. We strongly recommend that you participate from a space that is suitable for this activity. For example, make sure that you've moved nearby furniture and other potential hazards. If you're participating in a yoga class or class involves laying on the ground, we recommend using a mat, or if you don't have one, a carpeted area. Participants are encouraged to stop if they experience pain or injury and should seek appropriate medical advice and care as needed. William Mary Health and Wellness strongly recommends that each participant have an annual physical examination and follow the healthcare advice of your provider before participating. Also, before we get started, like 2 weeks ago, I took a little poll. Also, there's Charlie, in the end of my class and asked you guys if you want like a 50-minute class or an hour class, or 45 minutes. And every single person except one picked 50 minutes. So I talked to Jenny, and now the class is a 50-minute class. So today it's going to be 50 minutes, and I hope you guys like that. We'll go ahead and get started in child's pose. Just bring your big toes together, knees wide. Hearing my dog be your relaxing yoga sounds in the background. That's perfect. Melting your chest down towards your mat. Spreading your fingertips wide. Taking a nice deep breath in. And exhale, deep breath out. Just coming into your breath here, letting all your tension from your day and your week just melt away. Knowing for the next 50 minutes, all you have to do is focus on yourself, your own body, and your own breath. Let's take one more deep inhale, filling all the way up. Exhale everything out. And then walking both hands over towards the right, pressing your left hand on top of your right hand, stretching out your side body here. Coming back through center and then over towards the left, pressing that right hand on top of your left hand. Coming back to center and then threading that left arm underneath you towards the right side, extending that right arm straight out, coming to thread the needle in child's pose. Coming back to center, bringing that right arm underneath your shoulder all the way down to the ground, stretching that left arm out in front of you. Coming back to center and then keeping your hands and your knees where they are, bringing your body forward into swan. So your knees come up behind you, your feet come up behind you, rolling your shoulders back. And then exhale back to child's pose. Good, inhaling forward, knowing that you don't have to go down that far with your hips, just enough to warm up your hip flexors and start to stretch out your back. And exhale back to child's pose. Last time, inhale forward, pausing here, looking over that right shoulder, coming back to center, looking over your left shoulder, coming back to center and back to child's pose one last time. Then coming up to tabletop when you're ready, having your wrists right underneath your shoulders, your knees right underneath your hips. When you look through your thighs, you shouldn't be able to see your feet. Then start to drop your belly, roll your shoulders back, coming into cow. And exhale into cat, rounding your spine, looking towards your thighs. Good, inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. 2 more at your own pace. warming up your spine. Coming back to that neutral spine, starting to extend your right arm and your left leg, and squeezing elbow to knee. Good. Inhale, extend. Exhale, squeeze it in. Inhale, extend. Last time, squeeze and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Extend back out, bend your back knee, reach around, grabbing onto your foot or your ankle, and then kick your hand into your foot. Kick your foot into your hand to make your leg go higher up. Releasing back to that extension, then release your hand and knee down, switching to that left arm and right leg. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, extend. Exhale, squeeze. One more time, inhale and exhale. Then coming back to that extension, reach around, grab onto your foot or ankle, kicking into your hand, coming into a crossbow. Really lifting up and out of that bottom shoulder, releasing back to that extension, and coming back down to that tabletop, crossing your ankles and coming back to a seat, sitting up nice and tall, rolling your shoulders back. Then bring your right ear to your right shoulder, starting to stretch out your neck here. Coming back up to center, bring that left ear to your left shoulder. Coming back up to center, bring your right ear to your right shoulder, and then look down towards your shoulder, stretching a slightly different muscle in your neck. Back to center, left ear, left shoulder, and then bring your eyes down to your shoulder. Coming back to center, inhaling your arms out and up. Exhale, twisting towards the right. Bring that left arm across your right thigh. Coming back up to center, twisting towards the left. Bring your right arm across. Coming back up to center and then folding down over your cross legs, rocking side to side, warming up your hips and your back. Walking your hands back in, taking some wrist circles here. And going the other way. Taking some shoulder rolls towards the front of the room. And towards the back of the room. Extending your feet out in front of you. Start to point and flex your feet, warming up your ankles here. Then taking some ankle circles. And then going the other way. Bring your feet together, knees wide, coming into butterfly. Sitting up nice and tall, pressing onto one leg, lean away from that leg. Coming back up to center and switch sides. Coming back up to center, hugging that right knee into your chest, bringing your left leg across so your foot comes to your hip, squeezing that knee in. And then twisting towards the right, bringing that left arm across. Coming through center to switch sides. So this time you're hugging that left knee into your chest. And then twist towards the left. Releasing back to center. You can cross your legs however feels comfortable to you. And then interlace your hands behind your back, really rolling your shoulder blades together and opening up that space near your collarbone. And then you can try to lift your hands away from your back a little bit. You can have your palms touching or not, whatever feels better to you. Releasing that, coming back into a tabletop. And then you're going to flip your right hand over so your fingertips face your left hand, and then lean over towards the left. Coming back to center, touch every fingertip one by one to your thumb, and then go back the other way. Shaking out that wrist, placing it back down on the mat, and then switching sides. So that left hand flips over, fingertips face your right hand, and then lean over to the right. Coming back up to center, touch every fingertip to your thumb one by one. Then go back the other way. Shaking out that wrist. Coming back to center, and then flipping your hands so your palms are down to the ground and your fingertips face your body. Then you can rock forward and back, stretching out your forearms here. Maybe coming up onto your fingers a little bit and then rolling your hands back down to the ground. And then flipping your hands over, so you're doing that same thing, but this time your palms are facing the ceiling. You can just rock like not as far forward and back. Releasing that, coming back to that tabletop, tucking your toes under and pressing back to downward facing dog, pedaling out your feet here. Releasing your shoulders away from your ears. On an inhale, coming up to your tippy toes. And on an exhale, bring your heels down. Good. Inhale up to your tippy toes. Exhale, heels down. Last time, inhale. And exhale. Looking forward towards your hands, start to walk your feet up to meet your hands in a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift and lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold down over your legs. You can grab onto opposite elbows and sway side to side. You can nod your head yes and no. And then releasing that bind. Inhale, halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. One vertebrae at a time, coming up to standing. Your head is the last thing to come up. Inhaling your arms up, tilting towards the right. Bring that right hand down to your right leg. And coming up through center, over towards the left, left hand down. Coming up through center, bringing your hands to heart center, rolling those shoulders back and closing your eyes here. Giving yourself a moment to catch your breath, slow your heart rate, and just really connect with your body here. Slowly start to open your eyes, inhaling your arms out and up, and exhale into a forward fold. Good. Inhale, halfway lift and lengthen your spine. Exhale, stepping back to plank, holding here. Then coming to side plank with your left arm down and your right arm up. You can stagger your feet. You can bring that bottom knee down to the ground. You can step that top foot in front of you. Just really pressing your hips up towards the sky. Then coming back to center. Coming to the other side, so that right arm is down, your left arm is up. Imagine your body's like a rainbow. You're really pressing that top hip up. Coming back to center and back to downward facing dog. Then coming down to a tabletop, so we can start working on our glute muscles. We're going to start with a donkey kick. You can do this on your hands or down on your forearms. Just raise your knee to about right above a 90-degree angle, then tap it down to the mat again. When you get to the top, really focus on where your hamstring connects with your glute muscle and imagine that you're lifting your entire leg using just that part of your muscle. Keeping this movement nice, slow, and controlled. Either pointing or flexing that foot, but either way, just keep it super engaged. We're going to take 2 more and hold at the top. And then pulse that leg higher. Try not to come below that 90-degree bend. Keep pulsing for 3, 2, last one. Bring your knees back together. Take a little break. And then we're going to come into almost the same thing, but this time you're going to tap that right knee down on the side of your left knee. Then you're going to bring your foot back up into that donkey kick. So you're going to tap your knee, come back into that donkey kick. Just 3 more of these. Last 2. Last 1. Bring your knees back together, coming up onto your hands if you're not there already. And then you're going to lift that right leg up to a fire hydrant and then kick your leg out, bend your knee again, and come back to center. Because you're going to lift up, kick, bend, come back. If you don't have room, wherever you are, you can just pause with your leg lifted. You don't have to do the kick. It just adds some extra engagement in that standing leg, so the left side butt area. Feeling your core engage here, stabilizing your body, and also helping to lift that leg. Let's take 2 more. Last one. Coming back to center. And then we're going to do one last exercise, crunching your right knee to your right elbow, and then extend it out and back. Good. Really crunch it in and pause, holding your knee to your elbow, feeling your core engage, and then extend it back. So moving really, really slow. You can always come up to gorilla fist, so that's coming up to your knuckles. That can help alleviate pressure on your wrists. Let's take 2 more. Really pausing, connecting that knee to your elbow if you can. And coming back to that tabletop, switching sides. You can come back down onto your forearms if that's how you started on the other side. Really engaging that core, coming into those donkey kicks to start. Giving this side just as much attention and focus as we gave the other side. Keep lifting that leg, engaging your core, trying not to let that back arch. On the next one, hold at the top and pulse that leg higher. Keep going for 3, 2, last one, and then tap your knee down on the outside of your right leg, and then come back into that donkey kick. You know I love the exercises where you cross the midline of your body. Really helps engage a wider range of muscles, as well as it's a little brain activity. Let's do 2 more of these. Last one. Coming back up to that tabletop, and then coming into those fire hydrants with a kick. So you're gonna lift that left leg up, kick it out, and bring it back down. Feel your obliques engage, especially when you kick that leg out to the side. 3 more of these. Last 2. And last 1. Good. This time, bringing your left knee to your left elbow, really squeezing it in for about 3 seconds, and extending it out and back. Good. So you're going to squeeze it in, hold for 3, 2, 1, and then extend it back. Keep going at your own pace, really engaging that core to bring your knee as far forward as you possibly can. Let's take 1 more. Coming back down to that tabletop, and then coming down to one side. Bending your knees. You can prop up on your arm, or you can lie down on your arm, whatever feels better to you. You're going to keep that top leg parallel to your bottom leg and start to lift it up and lower it down. Make sure your hips are staying like in one line, so you're not going back when you lift that leg up. On the next one, we're going to add a little kick. So you're going to lift at the top and like kick your foot higher, bring it back down to parallel, and bring your leg back down. Good. So lift, kick up, come back to parallel, come back down. That little like flick of your foot helps to engage that side hip muscle just a little more. Last one. Coming back to center, taking a little break, catching your breath. And then we're going to lift our feet off the ground and do clamshells one more time, this time with your feet up, really getting into that side hip area. Last 2. And last 1. Good. Coming back to center. Now you're going to like prop up on that elbow, and then the opposite foot is going to come down planted on the mat. So like my left elbow's down and my right knee is facing towards the sky. Then you're going to extend the opposite leg. So for me, that's my left leg. You're going to extend your arm over your head. You're going to bring that leg up, touch your foot, then bring it back down. This is starting to engage your inner thigh. So make sure you rotate your foot out so you're lifting with your inner thigh, not the top of your thigh. Keep going like that. Trying to really crunch your abs in so you're really engaging them to lift your leg. Last 3. Last 2. And last 1. Good. Releasing that. Coming up to center and switching sides. We're going to start with those parallel lift clamshells. So bending both knees. Start to lift that top leg up and lower it down, keeping it parallel to that bottom leg. Trying to relax your shoulders, taking any tension out of your entire body except for where that muscle is engaging to lift your leg. Let's take 2 more of these. And then the next one, hold at the top and then flick your foot up, bring it back down and come back to center. Good. So it's lift and flick, come back to center. This leg just straight up does not work. And I can't do the little flick thing. Okay, I think it's better now. Taking 3 more of these, keep breathing. And the last one. Coming back down, bring your feet up and then opening your knee up to that clamshell and back to center. Keep going your own pace. Keep going for 3, 2, last one, coming back to center and propping up on that elbow that was down. Bring your opposite foot to the ground, extending your other leg, extending your arm, making sure that your foot and leg are rotated out to the side, and then lift your foot up to meet your hand and extend back out. Getting into that inner thigh. Keep lifting for 5, last 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good, coming back to center. Now we're gonna lie down on our backs. I'm gonna turn to face away from the camera. Lift your legs straight up, and then you're gonna extend them wide, then come up and cross your legs. Then extend them as wide as they can go with keeping them straight, and then cross them the other way. This is getting into your inner thighs. Really engaging your core to hold that lower back down to the ground. Then we're going to keep doing the same thing, but when you get to that wide thing with your legs, you're going to pulse 3 times. So you're going to go wide and then pulse 1, 2, 3, and then do the cross. Go down, pulse 1, 2, 3, and do the cross the other way. Keep going like that for just a few more. Again, really pointing or flexing your feet, either way, keeping them super engaged. Let's take 1 more. And then releasing those knees into your chest, rocking side to side. Then bringing your knees into that tabletop position that we do a lot. So your knees are right over your hips and your feet are directly out from your knees. Now you're going to do almost the exact same thing we were just doing, but now you're opening with like your knees instead of your feet. So you're going to open your knees out and then bring them back together. Good, open them out and bring them back together. Trying to make sure that your knees are staying like right in line with your hips. They're not coming up towards you as you go out. Really keep engaging that core. The last 2. And last 1. Hugging your knees into your chest, rocking side to side. Taking your knees in little circles, releasing your back and your hips. Switching directions of those circles. When you're ready, coming back up into a tabletop and back into that downward facing dog. Bring that right foot forward in between your hands into low lunge so we can start to stretch out that hip flexor. You should feel the stretch in your left hip flexor, which hopefully is a little sore from those exercises. Bringing both hands up to your thigh, keeping that right arm on your right thigh, extending that left arm up and over. Bringing your hands down to the ground, keeping your left hand down, extending your right arm up for a twist. Keep hugging that right leg in towards you. And bringing that right hand back down, stepping back to plank, back to downward facing dog, and now bringing that left foot forward, coming into that low lunge, rolling your shoulder blades back, Imagine your heart is coming through your arms, so you're really broadening your collarbones. Then bringing both hands up to your thigh, keeping that left arm on your left thigh, extending that right arm up and over. Bring your hands back down to the mat, planting that right hand down, extending your left arm up for a twist. Bring that hand back down, tucking your toes under, stepping back to plank. You can come back to downward facing dog. Looking forward through your hands, walking through so you can come down to a seat, and then scooting forward, lying down all the way back on your mat. We're going to start a little core section here. So extending that right leg up, you're going to lower it down to a hover and then bring it back up. Activating your lower core. Trying to bring that right leg in enough so you feel a little stretch at the top. And then switching sides, bringing that left leg up to the sky, coming down to a hover, and then back up. Let's take 2 more of these. Then coming back, interlacing your hands behind your head. Your knees are still facing up towards the sky. You're just going to come up to a little crunch and then release back down. You don't have to go up very far, just enough to feel those abs engage. This is especially good for your upper abs. Trying to keep those elbows wide. Last 2. And last 1. Good, bringing your knees over towards the left and keep doing those crunches, engaging your obliques here. Lifting up as high as you can. Moving nice and slow. Last 1, and then switch sides, bringing your knees to the right and keep going. Last 1. Coming back to center, keep that exact same position, and then you're going to bring opposite elbow to opposite knee and crunch back and release back down, and then crunch up, opposite elbow to opposite knee, release back down. Keep going at your own pace. This is really good for your entire core because you're engaging your lower abs to keep your back down on the mat, your upper abs to crunch up, and then your obliques to cross your body. Let's do 3 more to each side. Last 2. And last 1. Keeping your knees like that, extend your arms over your head, keeping your lower back connected to the ground. And then lift your arms straight up, reverse crunch your knees to meet your elbows, and then come back out to that extension, keeping your lower abs engaged. Good, keep going like that at your own pace. This is also really good for increasing shoulder mobility. Working on bringing those shoulders all the way up, while keeping your core engaged is super important. Let's take 2 more of these. Last one. Crunching up, bring your hands to your sides, coming into penguins or heel touches. You're gonna tap the same hand to the same heel, just going back and forth. Imagining your little penguin. Keep looking up, like to the ceiling, but in front of you. This helps prevent crunching your neck. Keep going for 3, 2, and 1. Good, releasing back out. Bring your hands to like this little triangle underneath your tailbone. And then extend your legs up towards the sky. You're gonna lower them down and lift them up. You're gonna lower down, keep your back connected to the ground, and lower up. Lower down and raise up. I'm going to take 4 more. Last 3. Last 2. And last 1. Good, coming back to center. Coming back into that tabletop position, but lying down. Then you're going to tap your right toe out and down, coming back to center, and then tap your left toe out and down. We're almost done with our core section. You're doing amazing, and you totally got it. Imagine how strong your abs are going to feel after this. Last one to each side. Then we're going to do that same thing, but both legs down and both legs up. This is harder to keep that back connected to the ground, keeping your core engaged. Making sure that you're lowering those legs slowly, not letting them just fall down to the ground. Last 2. Last 1. Second to last ab exercise. You're going to bring your legs straight up and just come into some reverse crunches. So you're just going to lift your tailbone off the ground, bring your feet closer up to the ceiling. Really good for your lower abs. Just 5 more. 4, 3, 2, the last one. Then extend your legs all the way out in front of you. Extend your arms up. Then we're going to roll up all the way up to touch our toes, and then roll all the way back down. Getting a little stretch as we work our abs. Trying to lower down slowly, not letting momentum take over. This last one, pause at the top, stretching down into that forward fold. Trying to lengthen your spine, flexing your feet. You can always put your hands next to your legs. And then sitting up nice and tall, bringing your legs wide on your mat. We're going to stretch out our inner thighs. Sitting up nice and tall and then folding down. Walking over towards the right, stretching over that right leg. Then extending that left arm towards the sky, or maybe up and over touching that right foot. You can bring that right hand through across to your left thigh. Walking back through center over towards that left foot. Then bringing your right hand up to the ceiling. Maybe up and over to your foot. Releasing back through center. Coming back up, bringing your knees together. And we're going to come into frog pose to stretch out our hips. So you're going to come forward and then bring your knees as far apart as they comfortably go with your legs directly behind your knees, and then you're flexing your feet. So your legs are making 90-degree angles. Then you can come down onto your forearms, or you can lie down all the way down onto your mat. Keep flexing your feet. This is really good for releasing your hips. And then starting to press up and out, bringing your feet together. Sitting down, bringing your knees up towards the sky and feet planted on the mat. We're going to windshield wiper our feet from side to side, our knees from side to side. And then scooting forward so you have enough room to lie down again, one vertebrae at a time, lowering down to your mat, hugging your knees into your chest, rocking side to side, bringing your arms out to a T, then bringing your knees over towards the left, looking over your right arm. Releasing any muscle engagement here, just letting yourself melt into this pose. Coming back through center, bring your knees over towards the right, look over your left hand. Coming back up to center, extend your legs up towards the ceiling, pointing and flexing your feet. Then taking those ankle circles just like we did at the beginning of class. Then going the other way. Bring your feet back down to the mat, crossing your right ankle over your left thigh, reaching through and grabbing onto your left leg. Rocking from side to side. Releasing that, coming into the other side so that left ankle crosses over your right thigh, reaching through, grabbing on to your right leg. Again, you can rock side to side a little bit. Releasing that, bringing your feet together on the mat, knees wide, one hand to your belly and one hand to your chest. Just kind of gently shake your head no. So rocking your head from side to side, releasing your neck on your mat. Coming back to center. Feeling your breath under your hand. Thanking yourself for making this time for your mind and your body today. Either staying here or start to extend your arms and your legs out on your mat, knowing that all your hard work is done And all you have to do here is relax in Shavasana. Slowly start to deepen your breath, wiggling your fingers and your toes, stretching your arms over your head for one final full body stretch. Bringing your knees into your chest, rocking side to side, rolling over onto your right side. Sitting up to a comfortable seat with your hands at heart center and your eyes closed. Thank you so much for coming and practicing with me today. The light in my heart honors and cherishes the light inside of each and every one of yours. Namaste. Thank you all so much for coming to Yogalates. I hope you liked it. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording now.